Today it is time for what should be an epic match of professional StarCraft 2. What I've got for you is a Terran versus Protoss that has been recommended by you guys many times over the last week or so, especially on Twitter. I had many people reaching out and mentioned that I should really go ahead and cast this game between these two players. Now, since of course I'm active on the StarCraft Reddit and I try to keep up to date with everything that's going on in StarCraft land, I did see the little highlight clip of the last couple of seconds of this game, and because of that I do know who ends up winning. But let's just say that one of the players was extremely confused about what just occurred. I'll go ahead and include that little highlight clip at the end of this video as well, so you'll see what I'm talking about. But let's figure out how we got to that point together. So apparently, our Terran player over here, I mean, as you probably know by now, he's very fond of building structures on the other side of the map. He's one of the best defensive Terrans in the world, who then in the late game loves going around the map with multiple armies. Now luckily here the Protoss player ends up scouting it as well, so this should be denied at the very least for a little while. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of the map and playing with the blue Terran SCVs from South Korea, we have one of the strongest Terran players of all time, and his nickname is Maru. His opponent in the opposite corner with the red Protoss probes from the Netherlands, we are of course looking at none other than Harstem's main nexus. Second probe was pulled away from the mineral line as well to continue harassing this for a little while longer, and this is super annoying right now for the Terran player. He does decide to pull a second SCV as well, so maybe he will try and finish it. It kind of comes down right now to whether or not Harstem thinks that this is going to be cancelled. So there will be a second barracks right now on top of the ramp, it looks like. So he decides to actually pull back one of the probes. But I think that indeed this fresh SCV right now is going to try and come back around to actually finish this structure as well. So I think if Harstem actually would have kept that second probe here, yeah, there it comes again, he could have probably denied this for a little while longer. This should finish right now though, but that's still a good, like, I would say like 30 to 40 second or so delay right there on that very first Reaper. So this should be an easy peasy defense. Barracks on top of the ramp actually gets cancelled. Nexus on the low ground has already come up, and we do see the chrono boost right now on that very first adept. So the Reaper, I don't think that this one is going to be able to get too much done. Most often, a proxy barracks in this matchup seems to be followed up by a factory with a tech lab, just so you can defend with a cyclone against whatever it is that the Protoss player counterattacks with. Especially if it gets scouted like this, you are in a little bit of trouble. Now, luckily here for Maru, there's no proxy Stargate or anything along those lines coming up. But here's that very first Reaper. This is going to be able to get anything done. I mean, it gets into the main base. It should scout that everything is pretty much A-okay. Might try to get a worker or so, but nah. Probably won't be able to get much done. Second adept is available as well, and there it goes. Perfect defense right here so far by Harstem, putting him in a really, really good position. I've actually seen a couple of games of TVP on this map recently, and it seems like, in particular, this map, I think it was Thermal who was doing that, although I don't really recall exactly. Anyways, I know that some Terran players on this map are fond of playing Mech. Mech, in general, is pretty uncommon in this matchup, but on this map in particular, there's a lot of locations where you can put those siege tanks up, right? So if you have a couple siege tanks over here, or right over here, I mean, you can defend those choke points relatively easily. Fourth base is usually acquired over in this location, and you know, there's just a lot of very difficult paths to attack into if you are a Protoss player on this map. Second adept, or rather second Reaper, will also end up going down. So a very, very nice start right now here for the Dutch Protoss. Okay, so what is his follow-up going to be? He decided to go for a Stargate. Already goes right now for the Robo facility as well. So he'll probably try and get a couple of those Phoenixes out for base defense, but also to potentially pick up some units here a little while later. We'll have to see what Maru decides to transition into after this starport. So he does indeed go for a couple of Cyclones. As you probably know, I've casted quite a few Maru games over the last few months. This guy is ridiculous when it comes to defending. He seems to be one of the strongest Terran players when it comes to just positioning his structures in the right place and then microing the units at home. He doesn't really seem to roll over and die at any point, so I can imagine that must be quite intimidating if you are a Protoss player going up against him. Very, very tricky to get into a position where you're actually going to be favored. Anyways. Yeah, so this is just a Phoenix right now patrolling around trying to figure out if there's any air units coming up here anytime soon. Also making sure that he knows if there's a proxy at any location in the map. Obviously, Phoenix is super quick units, so he's just getting vision of basically anything that he can find right now. That's pretty neat. You can see actually on the minimap the paths that he's carved out right now. He hasn't seen, for example, this section just yet, but he's been in most locations on his side of the map. So there it is, by the way. Oh, nice. Okay. So there is a second factory coming up. That is way too early to start producing 2 siege tanks with bio, so this is definitely going to be a mech transition. I really, really like that. I haven't seen a lot of mech recently. There's the NG Bay coming up as well. Probably just for missile turrets and, for example, planetaries maybe later on. I don't know. But anyways, he's gonna be needing that obviously if this was gonna be a Dark Templar transition. Won't be the case though. There's already a Robo Bay coming up on the other side. This is a little bit awkward though. Robo Bay at this point usually indicates he wants to go for a little bit of Colossus shenanigans. And while Colossus are pretty good, right? I don't really like them too much against Mech. Maybe if this would be like... Ooh, nice scan. Maybe if this would be like a Cyclone Hellion type of style, but generally speaking, we don't really see that all too often. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to be seeing a whole bunch of siege tanks here, at the very least for a little while longer. And the thing is, Colossi kind of suck against siege tanks, right? So there it is, yeah. Now, obviously, as soon as he sniffs out that this is Mech, does he know that at this point? I don't think so. Well, he does have the Observer over here on the high ground, so maybe this is the info that he needs. Yeah, this is already a lot of mech units, right? Like, maybe it's not quite the tell yet, but he must be getting, at the very least, some of those thoughts in his head right now. And obviously, Harstem plays this game a lot more than I do, especially in his matchup on this map, so he knows that mech certainly is a possibility. But he can always transition very easily towards Disruptors if he wants to, which, generally speaking, seem to be much better against those siege tank pushes. Second Stargate is coming up, actually. Okay. So I think he probably knows. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes into a little bit of Disruptor play and a little bit with some Stargate units. Yeah, I mean, he's seen Hellions right now as a follow-up as well, right? So I think that's probably the reason why. Okay, so, double armory. So, what exactly is Maru looking for at this point? Usually, there's a couple of follow-up pushes that Terran goes for from this position, and they all involve siege tanks, right? So already, the 4th Nexus right now is being acquired on the low ground, and I think that that is going to be one of the locations that Maru can push into. So he can push here straight through the center of the map and just try to siege straight on top of that Nexus to get maximum damage done, or he could try and go for a slower approach where you also build static defense on the other side of the map. Or not the other side of the map, like the... Say, for example, he wants to go for a push over here, you start building stuff all over this location, and you basically slow push your way to try and kill that 4th Nexus. So we'll see what he decides to go for. 2 additional factories are coming up. I mean, alternatively, he could be sitting back as well, just to try and max out on that Terran, you know, mech army, but I'm never a really big fan of that. I prefer going for some timing attacks, although these armories, they do seem a little bit late. I don't really know exactly what the timing of these is supposed to be, but they do seem a little bit late, and those upgrades are going to take a while to finish. So already the fleet beacon has come up here. Harstem decides to go straight right now into Disruptor Carrier. Okay. Did he already finish? Hold up. Oh, he already finished the +1 flyer upgrades. Wow, he started those real early. I love that. Okay. So yeah, he's going to go straight into carriers. Now, here's that move out from the Terran player. I like the fact here that Harstem is testing the waters at the very least to try and force a siege up over here. There's the Disruptor Ball. Gets a couple of Hellions. Nicely done. Good dodge as well, though, on that siege tank. Oh, man, those Cyclone lock-ons are absolutely painful. And I feel like Maru could just go ahead and siege. Now, there are a couple of a couple of shield batteries over there. Second Disruptor comes up as well. Gets a Cyclone. Very nice. Okay. Now, this is tricky, though. How do you get into this, right? Because whenever you try to siege up, one of those Disruptor balls will start, you know, rolling forward. So it's tricky to get into this spot if you're the Terran player. How exactly do you decide to engage this? This is cool, though. I love seeing Mech, man. We don't really see Mech, generally speaking, in this matchup. This actually looks like such a tiny Protoss army. And there it is, by the way. Okay, look at that. We see a couple of additional missile turrets right now being produced by Maru, and he's going to be building them in the center of the map. I like this. So I've seen this a couple times. It's, yeah, this is scary. So the way that Maru wants to play this is that he wants to slow push this. This is like the slowest of slow pushes ever, right? You need to try and go in for the choke here at some point, but this is him suffocating his opponent very, very, very slowly, tightening the noose over the course of minutes. It's a difficult unit composition to control properly, though. But yeah, I like this position here for the Terran player quite a bit. Protoss can't really get a whole lot done. He needs to warp in as many units here as possible at home. He's only on 1 Robo right now. Decides to go for an extra Stargate instead. I feel like those Disruptors are the ones that are keeping him alive for now. Anyways, 4th command center on the low ground. That one is always going to turn into an... or also going to turn into an orbital here as well. +2/+2 coming up here for Maru. I mean, those upgrades were a little slow initially, it felt like. But, I mean, if you're going to go for a slow push, you don't need them very quickly, huh? Okay. Now, how in the world are you going to break this if you're the Protoss? He's got 3 carriers at this point. He doesn't have charge or anything like that, right? Because he can't really afford a Twilight Council at this point. Already decided to go for the 4th Nexus. I like that. Or 5th Nexus, rather. I like that. I feel like maybe this location over here makes a bit more sense if you lose the low ground. Because, I mean, if you lose the low ground, then this base is dead too. But okay. Man, he's producing 4 carriers at once at the 10-minute mark in a TVP. I love it. So that is a very, very quick set of upgrades, though. I mean, this probably could have been acquired a little bit sooner, but every single upgrade on these carriers is huge, right? Is there an observer here? No. There's a lot of Widow Mines now coming up as well. Needs to get some sort of detection out, right? So I guess photon cannons could do the job, but it's mostly just going to be shield batteries for now. Disruptors constantly hunting here. Ping went down. Go, go. Oh, okay. So maybe there was a little bit of lag right there for Harstem. So 1 carrier ended up going down. 5 Disruptors have gone down as well. But keep in mind, right? The siege tanks don't really go down here. Like, the Cyclones are more replaceable. Oh. It's so difficult to get a good connection here in here if you're a Protoss player. Now, as long as Harstem doesn't lose his carriers, though, he is going to be able to finish up, I think, a big force eventually. Now, I love this. Okay. Finally, we see a little bit of multi-pronged harassment here from Maru, realizing that he doesn't need those Hellions at the front, and this is a tremendous amount of damage. This pretty much makes up for this entire push right now. Maru could unsiege and just go back home, but I mean, he's obviously got himself into this position right now. He can continuously, you know, push in this direction. I think his main goal at this point is killing the Nexus. Killing the Nexus is really all he needs to do. Still, though, Harstem was already at an extremely high economy here anyway, so even though he just lost a lot of probes, he still has more than his opponent. More workers, that is. This is such a tense battle, though. Ooh, there we go. Cyclones are locking onto the Nexus now. Yeah, that's scary. So it goes down very quickly. +2 flyer weapons here is going to finish up eventually. A couple Vikings are being added into the mix right now as well, but they don't have any upgrades, so they shouldn't get too much done. I love the missile turrets, though, man. That's so cool. Every single time that Harstem moves forward like that, he loses a couple of interceptors. And interceptors take quite a while to build, plus they cost money, right? So it's 15 minerals per interceptor. So you can see, like, every single time he moves forward, these carriers, I mean, they take a while before they get an extra interceptor ship once again. So those moves, they are not free, and they're kind of hard to justify. Good control once again here by Maru, man. He also now goes in for a little move with Hellions over on the left-hand side. And yeah, since this is a pretty immobile Protoss army, right? I mean, this is a scary Protoss army, but it's not a very mobile one. All of these Hellions right now are forcing this entire army to move on over. And that's when the Cyclones once again go in. Good splits there. Is he going to get the Nexus here? Yep. Yep. He will. He will. Okay. I think that's what Maru came here for. Now, he has a lot of Widow Mines, though, so I think he's gonna... Yeah, he's gonna stay. He's gonna stay. He wants to try and see if he can continuously kill this. I mean, the thing is, if you can kill the low ground base, the one on the left should be in a pretty scary position at the very least, too. That's still a lot of shield batteries, though, so I don't really know exactly if Maru is gonna be able to continue pushing here. How many carriers are we at? 12 carriers. With +2. +3 starts up right now. There's a lot of Cyclones over here, too. They're once again going to lock on the Nexus. Cancels. There's the anti-armor missile. Nice anti-armor missile. It's going to prevent this Protoss at least from moving forward a little bit longer. I mean, it could, but it seems a little risky. More missile turrets, man. So what exactly is Maru looking for at this point? I think he just wants to continue this position, but this is getting scary. Like, there is a moment where there will be just a critical mass. There's not that much anti-air, right? I mean, it's 13 Cyclones versus just about as many carriers. And then obviously there's some Vikings over here too, but they have no upgrades. There's missile turrets, a couple Widow Mines. There's actually 12 Vikings right now. It's starting to get kind of scary. And once again, another anti-armor missile goes down. Okay. I feel like Harstem is going to pull the trigger here at some point and just try and see if he can kill all of this. There we go. Yeah, he decides to do exactly that right now. I think that Maru may have very well overstayed his welcome as all of the carriers are moving forward right now. Those interceptor ships don't mess around with those upgrades that they have. Vikings still don't really... Yeah, they don't really have much, right? Yeah, they have no flyer upgrades at all. So, I mean, flyer attack upgrades, that is. They don't really do that much damage against those massive capital ships. And eventually, Harstem does break out of this position. Okay. I think you go. I think you go right now, because you know that there's like no anti-air at all here for the Protoss. Go, 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 go. Or for the Terran, rather. Go, go, go. I think you should go fight. That was a sick battle, though. So, big picture over here. Yeah, you can see that the Terran player did not trade particularly efficiently there. A lot of missile turrets are coming up. Darren actually lacks anti-air here pretty badly. Finally decides to go for some of those air upgrades as well. He's just getting as many Vikings here as he can, producing 4 of them at once. But these carriers don't actually mess around, man. These are very scary. Like, they have very good upgrades. So every single interceptor ship gets +1 damage from those air weapon upgrades, right? So he's going to finish +3 here very quickly. I feel like he could have already been there, to be honest. Does Maru have enough right now to defend this counterattack? He's getting a lot of missile turrets out. Oh, man, I love watching Mech play. It's so sick. Ooh, Disruptor hit there as well. Beautiful Disruptor hit. Gets 4 of those Widow Mines. And this is now a bunch of SCVs going down. Cyclones trying to see if they can kill a base, but that base doesn't exist. And that means that apparently these orbitals are going to be in a little bit of trouble. Now, there is another orbital here on the top right-hand corner as well. Cyclones instead now decide to move forward. Are they going to be able to pick up a war? No, I don't think so, man. There's still the super battery over there at home as well. And that's another base going down. Is that triple orbital? Did he just kill 3 orbitals? I think he did, yeah. Okay. Cyclones are turning back home, though. And actually, the carrier count has been going down. There's only 6 carriers remaining, but most of them are, I think, at home. And that means right now that all of the reinforcing units of Maru, as well as those Cyclones with the lock-on damage, they're going to be able to pick up every single last of these carriers. Base in the center will be acquired right now, but that was actually a really big engagement there for the Terran player. Nicely done right there by Maru. Bringing those Cyclones back home, not actually sacrificing them on the other side of the map. There's a recall right now on the leftover Disruptors, but pretty much the entire Protoss army ended up going down. Now, if you look at the supply counts right now, there's obviously a big advantage here still for the Protoss player, but this is a scary position to be in, because... Yeah, there's 18 Vikings left over, and 2... that's actually pretty much his entire army. That's kind of crazy, right? The fact that his army at this point is freaking Vikings. But anyways, he's got 18 Vikings. If you want to defend that with carriers, you need to make a lot of carriers, and it takes a long time to build those guys. Alternatively, Harstem could go... Does he have Blink? I don't know if he has Blink. No, he doesn't have Blink. I don't think he has that many gateways either. I was thinking maybe Blink Stalker, but... That's a difficult call to make, though. You never know, right? Because a couple siege tanks can just shut everything down. So the main command center has been floated over. The natural also has floated over. So there's actually only 2 command centers over in this location, and then a third one over there. So it's basically only 3 base Terran at this point. Okay, how many carriers are we at? Once again at 8. Ooh. Yeah, he now has enough carrier or enough Vikings though to almost start one-shotting the carriers. I think he one-shot one of them, but maybe that one was already low health from earlier on. Maru doesn't actually have that many command centers. Normally in this location or in this position we see more of those CCs being added on. I guess those traits have been really tough on him. Yeah, look at that. Wow. Okay, once again, Cyclone's going in for what seems to almost be a bit of a desperation move. Super Battery right now trying to repair the shields on that Nexus as well. Is he going to get it? He will. A couple Stalkers were warped in here. But the Cyclones just simply outpaced those relatively easily. That's a scary amount of Vikings, but we're getting to the point again where I think the Protoss can actually, yeah, do reasonably well. There's not that many amazing upgrades here on these Vikings, man. I love that. Oh. He has enough to one-shot them. There you go. 2 carriers. Ooh, almost a 3rd carrier goes down again. How many carriers have gone down? 19 carriers at the 19-minute mark. There's a mothership coming up right now as well. We even see the air upgrades here in the Cyber Core. Okay. Here's where Maru once again starts up a slow push, though. Man, isn't StarCraft freaking beautiful in 2020? Like, this is one of those games that doesn't really happen very often. It's just because of the map that this kind of thing is even possible. I haven't really seen people play Mech on any of the other maps, rather. This is very different than your conventional game of TVP, where we have Marine Marauder, and then a couple medevac drops, and, you know, Colossi and into Storm and stuff. Actually, speaking of Storm, I think Storm would be pretty good against these Vikings too, right? Not usually something we see against Mech, I suppose, but wouldn't be bad. Yeah, Templar Archive starts up. Motherships take a very long time, but obviously in this matchup there's no abduction, so these units are actually pretty insane. They're big though, so Vikings can hit them from a very long distance, but look at that. Nice scouting here so far. There's still only 3 command centers. Maru is actually, like, he evacuated his main natural and 3rd CC to continue mining on new bases. So this is such a low eco Terran right now. Can you play low eco Mech? Well, once again, this, oh my god, these rocks are insane. Look at those siege tanks. Getting so much damage in. Stalkers get across the map. They're finding that there's no command center over there on the 3rd base, so you must realize right now that that command center has floated on over towards another location. We see another Nexus now falling as well. Maru trying to outmaneuver this, right? So even though this Protoss army is pretty good, I mean, oh, this kind of sucks. Yeah, this Protoss army is pretty good. It's so big. Like, all of these units take a lot of supply, is what I'm trying to say. So you can't really split it up, because as soon as you split up a couple of these carriers, say to the left-hand side, the Vikings will swoop in and just kill it all, right? So you kind of have to keep it all in this one big bowl, and it's really difficult to actually then defend against this kind of stuff. There's units moving all over the map. Maru right now playing Mech as if it's bio, using the mobility here of this Terran army, at the very least, compared to that Skytos force. Now, maybe this was a little bit too ambitious. I don't think that these guys are going to live for very long. Carriers arrive right now as well. Still though, this is tons of probes going down. I think that the base in the center will also be picked up, and that Hellbat squad over there also got a lot of damage in. That's 28 probes going down all of a sudden. Wow, okay. Maru decided to flip the switch, and now all of a sudden he is the one with that supply advantage. Still though, he doesn't have a good eco. Like, he's still only on... Okay, no, he's built a 4th command center right now, but he only has a couple of CCs. 39 probes go down in the blink of, well, if you blink really slowly. If you take about a minute or so to blink. My god, 43 probes? This is a Protoss death bowl, though. That is a scary Protoss force. There's Storm in there, there's Disruptors in there, there's a Mothership with quite a bunch of energy. Love the idea of these Phoenixes as well. They're very mobile, and they can pick up units that are out of position. What is the main army of Terran at this point, though? We're looking at 24 Vikings. That's really about it. There's a lot of missile turrets, too. Once again, we see the Hellions on the left-hand side. Man, these Hellions have been the absolute stars of the show. They're kind of pointless in big battles, but they're absolutely phenomenal when it comes to harassment. Command centers decide to evacuate on out of here. Harstem ended up killing the CC right over here. Ends up killing the command center over here as well. And he ends up killing that command center that is floating away, I think? I mean, it's burning down. I don't think that one is going to come back here anytime soon. At this point, Harstem is sitting at 17 workers and basically no mineral patches, though. So this is the army that he's got and the one that he's got to do it with. Okay. Luckily here for Maru, he did somehow, some way get these SCVs in this location to repair it back up. How did the SCVs even get here? It's a little bit strange, huh? Anyways. Purification Novas once again being thrown forward. Okay, so that CC also ends up going down. We're now getting into the position as well, but Maru has quite a few workers remaining. I mean, 39, at least compared to his opponent, that's quite a few. But they're all over here in the top right-hand corner, and that's actually his only mining base. New Nexus being acquired here in the top section of the map. I'm pretty sure if you're a Protoss player at this point in the game, you assume that there's a lot more command centers. So usually what Terrans end up doing, especially when they're playing Mech, you get into a position where you're maxed out and then you throw leftover minerals on additional command centers. There's only one command center at this point, and it's this one over here in the top right. I think that Harstem should really try and head on over in that direction, but I can imagine in his mind right now, he's like, okay, you know what? I need to try and get this base up, or I need to go in for the kill. But going in for the kill is very tricky, because there's even a Thor right now added into the mix. There's a lot of missile turrets. They're going to be able to pick up those interceptor ships very, very easily. And as I showed you earlier, they take quite a while to reproduce those interceptors. I guess it comes down to storms, man. If you can land a storm on those Vikings, that would be an absolute disaster here. How many Widow Mines are we talking? Nah, it's just 2 Widow Mines. Okay. So a new base is being acquired here. I love the fact that Harstem is patrolling this location on the map mostly. That way he is preventing Hellions from easily running by. Command center actually will get picked off, and actually that's the last command center. Oh god, that's actually the final command center. I mean, he's building one over here, but he's actually currently broke. He only has 375 minerals, so if this one is forced to be cancelled, that's it. Hellions though do manage to get into that base. Ooh, and that means that Harstem is now at, well, 2 probes. One of them is over here. No, actually, both of them are over there in that gas geyser. So Harstem is broke as a joke. He can't really produce a whole lot anymore. I mean, he's making some new probes, but that's going to take forever to get value out of those. My god, how many workers have gone down at this point? 127 and 85? I didn't actually realize that Harstem killed that many workers himself as well. Maru is basically now sitting with his back against the wall, with one command center over here that he can't even really afford to turn into an orbital. Okay. Both players have been knocked back to minute 2 when it comes to the economy. They just have very high-tech armies. I'll be switching over to the units tab right now in the top left, because it's going to be a while until we're going to see some serious production, right? I mean, missile turrets and probes. Not really a unit composition that you see coming up usually. Okay, so those Hellions, they tried getting something done. Nah, there's a lot of siege tanks, though. I don't know about the High Templar. High Templar are going to have a very difficult time to get anything done. Maru, starting up the missile turrets at home, right? I mean, continuing those forward at the very least. I guess in Harstem's mind right now, though, what are you thinking? Like, you know that there's not going to be that much Terran eco anymore, but you know you have absolutely nothing yourself. Orbital Command was being morphed in, and there we go. Command Center goes down, and that's once again the final CC. This time around, there's not even one in production. Ooh, actually, oh, the High Templar ended up getting sniped, and so did the Mothership. So, no more fancy spellcasters right now here for the Dutch Protoss. Nice moves right here by Maru. He's trying to bait these units to back up into the direction right now of the missile turrets. And here it is. Maru has not rebuilt their bases being revealed. I think that this is the first time where Harstem realizes what is going on. And Maru decides to tap out.
Harstem doesn't realize he's killed the only CC of Maru. Harstem, I mean, I don't know if you can disengage now. I mean, now he's realizing Maru's not rebuilt his base. He's going to back away. He's going to be like, wait a second. What if? And GG.
Maru can't beat the army anymore. He didn't have enough Vikings, especially without the turrets. There was no way. What a banger of a game.
Even Harstem's like, what? He GG'd? Like, he's like, how? Harstem just whispered me. He says, I thought I had lost. I was about to GG.
So there it is. I love that highlight clip. The thing is, right, when you're casting a game or you're watching a game, we have perfect vision, but the fog of war and the constant maneuvering around the map makes it so difficult to actually tell what the opponent is doing and what they actually have. Pretty sure in Harstem's mind, right, Maru had like 4 command centers still somewhere out on the map, dropping mules left, right, and center. But since Maru had been trading so inefficiently in the center of the map earlier on and then constantly throughout this game, he basically had no money to ever add on those additional CCs. And because of that, Harstem ends up winning this match. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button so you get notified as soon as future videos go live. Today, I want to give a special shout out to the YouTube members. Thank you all very much for your generosity. If you also want to become a member, click the join button right next to the subscribe button if you're watching this on desktop, or use the link down below in the description. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile, and I'll see you once again in the next one.